Hi, we have another exciting story right now from Bedtime Adventures, Fluffy and His Friends, and this friend is called or the story, one of Fluffy's friends, Adam and Eve Doodlebug. Well, once upon a time, there was a boy, Doodlebug, named Adam. And Adam lived in a beautiful, beautiful garden. It was actually somebody's backyard. But to him, it was just like a world that was just really wonderful. And Adam had his own house, but when he wasn't at his house, he used to like to go and crawl up a big, beautiful yellow flower. And when he would be on that flower, he could see everything spread out in front of him. When he would look over to the right, he would see a big swimming pool over there. It was just like an ocean. And Adam loved to go over there. And the reason is because doodlebugs like wetness and everything. And he could go over there and play for hours. The only thing he didn't like about the water is that it stunk and it tasted funny. And when Adam would look straight ahead, he would look out over a beautiful sea of grass that looked like it went on forever until it got to a big wooden fence. And when he would look off to his left, there was the house of the people who lived there. And they had a big wood pile out by their house. And he used to love that because I don't know if you know this, but doodlebugs love wood. And they love crawling under wood and they like crawling on top of wood. And I think they even like eating wood. So Adam used to enjoy his garden and his house and his flower and the wood pile and everything. It was just so much fun for him. Now, Adam did live alone. And even though he was a nice, upstanding young doodlebug, there was one thing about him. Because he lived alone, his house was a royal mess all the time. But guess what? Adam didn't care because he lived alone. So one day, he was up on the flower, and he was looking all over, and he was just enjoying the breeze and everything. And he looked out in front of him. There was something crawling through the grass that he had never seen before. He thought, wow, I wonder if it's a grasshopper. But as it got a little bit closer, he saw it. He thought, no, it's not big enough to be a grasshopper. It can't be that. I wonder if it's an ant. And he kept looking at it. Oh, it was a little bit bigger than what an ant would be. And he saw it go up a blade of grass and down a blade of grass. And then it came up a blade of... He couldn't believe his eyes. It was a girl doodlebug in his yard. And he looked at it and he kept watching her. And when she got close enough, he said, "Girl doodlebug." And she said, "Who is that?" And he says, "My name is Adam Doodlebug, and I'm way up on this flower." And she looked up and she saw him and she said, "Oh, hi, how are you?" And he felt a little bit brave. And he said, "Would you like to have tea and cookies with me?" And she said, "Oh, yeah, I would love to have tea and cookies. I'm a little bit tired and hungry. That would be lovely." And so Adam went down the flower and he went to his house to get ready to have tea and cookies with a girl doodlebug. And then he thought to himself, "Oh no, my house is a mess." And he went into his house and it was just a pit mess. He couldn't believe it. And so he ran around and he picked up a bunch of things that he could pick up. And he went and he did all of the dishes and he cleared up all of the counters in the kitchen. He couldn't find the tea kettle. Oh no, then he went wild and he went all over the house and he didn't know what to do. And he went out and got a whole bunch of garbage cans and he put them all by the windows and he would throw things out the windows and he would get a shovel and he would throw things out the window into the garbage cans. And finally, in the corner, under a pile of dirty clothes, he found the tea kettle. So he went into the kitchen and he made everything ready for tea. And he found a plate. And everything in the kitchen started to look clean, right? And he found a plate, and he put the plate out, and he opened a new bag of cookies, and he put the cookies all in a circle, and he walked into the dining room and put it on the table. He couldn't find the table. So he went wild again, and he started throwing everything out the window. There were bags, and there were old potato chip bags, and there were shoes, and there were all sorts of things. He didn't even know where some of that came from. There were just piles. And finally, he got the table. He found the table. It was under a big pile, wouldn't you know it? And he cleaned off the table, and he set the table. He put a napkin at each place. He put the teacups there, and he put the plate of cookies there. He had everything set out. Oh, he was breathing really heavy, too, because he had done so much work trying to clean up his place. And he said, oh, boy, finally, she'll be able to come here, and the house will look nice, and she can freshen up in the bed. Oh no, the bathroom. And so he ran into the bathroom, and there were potato chip bags all over the place, and there were shoes everywhere, and there were underwear everywhere, and he had to pick that all up. And finally, he got the whole house clean. Oh, and it seemed like it took him 1,000,000 years, and he thought, oh no, where's the girl Doodlebug? And so he ran out, and he ran to the edge of the yard, and he got up on a brick, and he looked around, and he couldn't see her anyplace. And then he went, and he kind of looked over toward the house in the woodpile. He couldn't see her over there. And then he looked, he couldn't see her in the grass, and she wasn't over by the pool. And Adam got sad. And by the time he walked over to the flower, he thought, see, if my house had been all taken care of and in order and everything, then I wouldn't have had to worry about this, and I could have just invited her in, and I didn't miss her. And who knows when the next time a girl Doodlebug will even walk by in my yard. And as he was thinking all these thoughts, all of a sudden he said, hello. And he looked. He couldn't see her there, and he looked, and he couldn't see her there, and he couldn't see her there. And she said, no, silly, up here. And he looked up at the top of his yellow flower, and there peeking over the edge was the girl Doodlebug. So he ran up the yellow flower to the girl Doodlebug, and he showed her everything from up there. And he showed her the pool, and he told her about how nice it was there and how wet it was there, and the water was kind of warmish, but it had a kind of a funny smell and taste. Oh, she knew all about that kind of stuff. And then he showed her over the woodpile. She was really excited about the woodpile because Doodlebugs just love woodpiles. And Adam said, would you like a cup of tea and some cookies? And she said yes. So they went down the flower, and they went into her house, and they had a lovely time of drinking tea and eating cookies. And who would have known that Doodlebugs like to do that kind of stuff? And they talked and talked and talked and talked. And you know what? They enjoyed each other so much, the girl Doodlebug decided that she would like to live in that yard. So Adam made a house for her too. And after a while, they enjoyed each other's company so much, they decided to get married, and they became Adam and Eve Doodlebug. Now, after that, I have to tell you, Adam never let messes build up again. As soon as he got done with the potato chip egg, went right into the garbage. He always piled up his shoes in the right place, and he found out that Eve had a good influence on him in making him a tidy little Doodlebug. Sometimes getting married is what does that for guys. Anyway, Adam and Eve Doodlebug. Good story.